Hi guys, Josh here, and in today's video I would like to start a discussion on what's next for the Rune Factory series. If you watched the Nintendo Direct that took place earlier this month, you've probably heard this announcement.
Plus, a new Rune Factory series will launch in the future.
A lot of people seem to have different opinions on what this means, so I wanted to share my thoughts on it, and of course, let me know what you think as well in the comments. I have three hypotheses, three different things that could be coming up next for Rune Factory, and let's start with the one I believe is the least likely to happen and why. And that is Rune Factory 6. So we got Rune Factory from 1 to 5, with Frontiers and Oceans or Tides of Destiny somewhere in between, and an easy guess would be to think that Rune Factory 6 would be next, but honestly I don't think it will. After watching the Direct, I was a bit surprised because a lot of people were saying that Rune Factory 6 got confirmed, we're getting Rune Factory 6. There were tons of news articles and videos talking about Rune Factory 6, and at first I thought I had missed an announcement completely or something, so I went back and I watched the Direct again, and to me pretty clearly says that a new Rune Factory series would launch in the future and not a new entry in the series. It didn't feel ambiguous to me at all. Maybe they just meant a new entry and the wording was weird, I don't know, but the Japanese Direct also mentions a new series being in development, so for me that sounded pretty clear. It could still just be a weird mistake, but also I feel like if the next game would be Rune Factory 6, they would have just said Rune Factory 6. When Rune Factory 5 got announced, it was in a very similar setting in a Nintendo Direct right after the Rune Factory 4 special trailer, and right away we got the logo, the name of the game, and that was pretty much it. So I don't know, I feel like if the next Rune Factory would be Rune Factory 6, they would have done the same thing and just said, hey, Rune Factory 6 is coming, and here's the logo with the new number beside it, and yeah. But then things get a bit confusing, and on the official North American Rune Factory Twitter, they do say that they're working on a new entry in the Rune Factory series, so now it does get a little bit confusing. I think that even if the publisher is being inconsistent with the wording, it must be something at least a little bit different than your typical Rune Factory. And also, if we take a look at Hakama's Twitter account, which is the developer behind Rune Factory 5, there is an announcement from Yoshifumi Hashimoto, the series creator and producer, and Minako Iwasaki, the character designer, and they're saying how they are working on a new RPG, but that it's not a sequel. This tweet is from August 31st, so before the Nintendo Direct took place, but I feel like this is probably the same game they're talking about. I can't imagine these two people who have been working closely together since the beginning of the Rune Factory series, and who will probably keep working on the series in the future. I can't imagine them developing both a Rune Factory 6 and a completely different game at the same time. So all of this leads me to think that the Rune Factory game teased in the Direct is the same game that was teased on Hakama's Twitter account, and that it will probably be a pretty unique game since even their own teams seems a bit confused as to whether or not it's a new entry. Personally, I think it may have Rune Factory in its name, mostly for marketing purposes, like how the first Rune Factory was titled Rune Factory: A Fantasy Harvest Moon, but that many of the game's features will change. And this brings me to my second thought. I think that this game could be either taking place in a completely different universe or a different era than what we're used to, which would separate it from the other games. Personally, I always wanted to see more of the factory in Rune Factory. Like, what about a steampunk-themed game with a darker, grittier side where maybe you fight with guns rather than swords, you have robots instead of monsters, and the harsh environment could make it harder to grow crops. Or maybe they could do something similar to Innocent Life, which was a futuristic spin-off of Harvest Moon for the PSP and PlayStation 2, or maybe even a story that takes place in modern-day Japan, similar to like Persona 5, but you have maybe a little garden in your backyard. As much as I love the Rune Factory series as it is today, I'm also a big fan of spin-offs. I think they're a great way to spice things up in a series, not only with different setting, but if it's done well, you also get new and different gameplay mechanics, and it could be a great opportunity to add things that were requested by a lot of players, like character customization in that spin-off, if it's something they don't want to include in the mainline Rune Factory game. So let me know guys, if you could make any kind of Rune Factory spin-off in a different universe, what would it be? And now I want to share my thought number 3, and I think that this could be a crossover. This means Rune Factory combined with another franchise. We have not seen Rune Factory crossovers yet, but it is something that happens from time to time with Story of Seasons, who is under the same publisher. We had Return to Popolocrois, A Story of Seasons Fairy Tale for the Nintendo 3DS, then more recently we got Doraemon Story of Seasons, and now that is actually becoming its own series with Doraemon Story of Seasons Friends of the Great Kingdom coming out on November 2nd this year. Maybe they saw how successful the Doraemon Story of Seasons crossover was, and decided to do a similar thing with Rune Factory and make a crossover series. It could be with any franchise, most likely another Japanese anime or game series, so I won't try to take any guesses. Let me know what your dream crossover would be, but I can definitely see that becoming a reality. So to conclude, I don't think it will be Rune Factory 6 because they would have just revealed the title right away. I also can't imagine Hakama working on two big games at the same time, so I think we're gonna be seeing something pretty different than what we're used to, possibly taking place in a different universe or maybe some sort of crossover. So what do you guys think? Would you like the series to continue as it is, or would you prefer something different? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments, leave a like and subscribe if you don't want to miss out, as I will be sure to cover this future game as much as I can, and I'll see you all in the next video.